Okay, we're gonna take a look at the different reroll systems. Here we're kind of talking about Norroth and Elethor. The reason why we have these dice are to reroll the stats on these particular weapons, and I understand that this may not fit the desire of Norroth, but what I will say is, from a player's point of view, if I wanted to min max, because this game does actually allow me to min max my items, I just need to craft hundreds of them, which is why jewelry working is the way it is. You craft 100 gems and maybe you keep one, right? In Elethor, if I go to my equipment here, let's. Sorry, I'm trying. Oh, these rollovers. Upgrade. Okay. So I can re-roll. If I click this blue button, it's going to re-roll all three of those all three of those energizements. Okay, and one, I've got 191 shards. It's going to only cost one. That's awesome. I could re-roll 191 times. And there's a lot of different things that could come up instead of the +5 armor. But let's say I want to keep 1 +5 armor. Okay, now it's going to cost me 10. Now I'm ensured that I definitely get this one, and only these two will roll. And if I lock 2 of them, now it's going to cost me 40. And that gets expensive, but it helps me kind of get to the point with my armor that I want. And there's been points in this game where I have definitely paid an expensive cost to get exactly what I want, and then other times there are where hey, it's okay. It's not the best, but it's not bad. I'm in the middle and I don't want to pay anymore. Right? I'm happy with where it is. Maybe it's a +4 armor per 10 level or +3 armor per 10 level. And I'm like, ugh, it's too expensive and I don't want to play the RNG game. Right? And so some of this other stuff is definitely that. Just a second. So that would be interesting in Norroth, because the thing, and see, this is where I'm like, you have this, Norroth has this opportunity to really consume a lot of resources because we're generating a lot of resources by gathering and hunting. Elethor consumes a lot of resources. I have to spend 40 energizement shards per attempt, right? Imagine if you could, and this for Norroth, for using achievement points, so for example, when just trying to get my six items to relic and trying to get my level 6 magic find set going, was it level 6? Yeah, level 6. I must have spent in both those cases, I must have spent 100, or sorry, the equivalent of maybe 50 relic tokens, which is expensive, or the equivalent of, I think it was almost 250 dice when I was rolling for slots. I mean, that's a lot. But I will say, as a player, crafting that equipment was very fun. So the suggestion of reward us even more dice, reward us even more tokens, but at a certain point have it just cost more. Slots would be great when you're trying to roll for those slots. If you wanted to lock a slot, have the next reroll cost 10 dice, right? And then if you were to lock 2, have the next one cost 30 dice. You can always just like in this game, I could always roll 191 times and hope for the best. Or I can lock down to what I want. And the same thing with I'm trying to get a staff, right, that does Here, we're going to go back over here. Let's see. Here's this shield. I want a shield that's going to give me spell damage. Like, let me lock that down. And then the next one, and still got items without mass slot. Yeah, exactly. And you can even limit it up to 4 lock stats. Yeah, sure. So out of these, 8 different things it's going to roll for, let me be able to lock. Let me be able to lock the, say for example, the attack speed and the attack power. Right? And let me roll the others. And maybe I'm happy with the other 6, but I'm guaranteed those 2. Right? And maybe when for everyone I lock, maybe the dice cost doubles. Right? So you lock one, the next roll costs 2 dice. You lock another, it's 4 dice. You lock another, it's 8 dice per roll. Like, if you reward the players a lot, even if it costs a lot, I feel like that is a better thing. It's going to feel like I'm getting a lot, and there's a reason why you're having me cost a lot, right? Because you're giving me some amount of control. Hey, I'm going to lock in this and that. And you could think about it. You can go back and talk to people that played Elethor about what they feel about the crafting system. Like right now, I'm just kind of like it's so funny because I'm just using, like, I get so much dropped gear. I haven't had to craft for anything, and I don't really even use the market for gear because I'm literally being given 50 pieces of decent gear a day. So it's like, why buy from anyone else? There's no demand that anyone else need to level up their crafting. At least from, like, I don't need the top gear, and I'm not going to pay a crafter to craft me like 100 swords. I'm going to pick up like a mediocre one that was dropped and just say, okay. So, but it would be cool if someone crafts like 10, I get the best one out of that, and then I go to town and spend like 300-400 tokens, 300-400 dice. I feel like that is much more. I mean, you as a player, try not to hear these words and think I'm criticizing the game. I'm really trying to this is what I would define as fun. And I want other players to ask themselves, what do you consider fun? I think crafting gear in this system, using the re-roller, crafting jewels, rolling for slots, I think that's fun. I don't like to increase rarity, and that's unfortunate. Like, I just don't use that feature at all because the consequence is my gear is destroyed. And there's been a couple cases where folks have said they've had a safety charm in their bag, and it still destroyed their gear. And so that's always made me nervous. I don't know why gear destruction honestly needs to be there, but it's made me avoid that entire thing completely. I know for some people, like just the achievers, just like some people want to get number 1 on the leaderboard, some people absolutely want that like 150, 175, 200 quality, and they're willing to pay that cost with the safety charms, and it's okay. Perhaps I would too if safety charms were cheaper. Perhaps I would. But I like rolling for for slots, and I like rolling for stats because I don't want to lose my gear. So anyway, just wanted to throw it out there. If you do, just a suggestion there for how stat re-rolling could be done. And you could make it. Some players won't want to pay the high price. They'll be willing to do 100 rolls with 100 dice and just see what comes up. Other people may want to lock in 2 or 3 stats and then may only get 6 rolls. And again, always an advocate for player choice, allowing multiple different play styles to all feel like they are succeeding and progressing their character. So that is my suggestion there. Thank you.